Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. Clark here. Today, we are going to revisit place value. We're going to be looking at numbers, breaking them apart, talking about where they are located, and then also representing those numbers with base 10 blocks. So let's go ahead and get started. Here's our math message for the day. Loki thinks that the 5 in 52 is the same as the 5 in 25. Do you agree? Go ahead and take some time right now to discuss your answer with a partner that's nearby. Pause the video so you can discuss. Let's go ahead and look at the digits in both of these numbers, 52 and 25. Like I shared with you, Loki thinks that the 5 in 52 is the same as the 5 in 25. What did you and your partner talk about? How much is the 5 in 52 worth? How much is the 5 in 25 worth? The 5 in 52 is worth 50. So we say its value is 50. Whereas the 5 in 25 is worth 5 ones, otherwise known as just plain 5. When we break these numbers apart, this is what it would look like. 50 plus 2 equals 52. 20 plus 5 equals 25. Now let's take a look at both of these numbers using what we call base 10 blocks. I will show you what these numbers look like with actual base 10 blocks, and I will also show you what those base 10 blocks look like in a drawing. Let's go ahead and take a look at what 52 would look like in base 10 blocks. So before I begin showing you what 52 looks like, I just want to show you what base 10 blocks look like. This is what we call a flat, and there are 100 cubes inside of a flat. We usually represent it by drawing a big square like this on our papers. The next base 10 block that we use that's very common is called a long, and a long looks like this. It has a total of 10 cubes inside the long, and it's represented on a piece of paper by drawing a long line. Makes sense, right? And the last kind of base 10 block that we use that's very common is this tiny little cube, and that's what it's called. It's called a cube, and we represent that in a drawing by just drawing a dot. So now that you know what base 10 blocks are and you know what they represent, we're going to go ahead and show 52. I'm going to start with the 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then 2 cubes makes 52. So when we think about place value, we think about the numbers in each spot. In the ones place is a 2, and that's represented by 2 ones or 2 cubes. This, where the 5 is the tens place, and it's represented by groups of 10. How many groups of 10 are we looking at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that matches the number. So 5 longs and 2 cubes equals 52. If I were to draw this on my paper, it would look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 longs and 2 cubes. Now we're going to take a closer look at that number 25. I can see that 5 is in the ones place. 2 is in the tens place. If I wanted to represent 25 using base 10 blocks, I would find 2 longs, 1, 2, and I would find 5 cubes. If I wanted to draw 25 using base 10 blocks on a piece of paper, I would draw 2 long lines and 5 cubes. And there you have it. So in our math message for today, when Loki said that 5 and 52 was the same thing as 5 and 25, was Loki correct in saying that? No, he was not, because Loki saw that the number was 5, yes, but because the number 5 is in 2 different places, 5 actually means 2 different things. Here in 25, 5 means 5 ones. Here in 52, 5 means 50, 5 tens. So just to go over base 10 blocks with you one more time, this big square represents 100, and we call that a flat. This long represents 10, and there are 10 cubes inside of a long. And this base 10 block is called a cube, and it represents 1. So if I were to read how much this is on my board, I would say that I have a 1 in the hundreds place because there is 1 flat on my board. There is 1 long in the tens place. There is 1 group of 10, so I put a 1 in the tens place. And there is 1 cube, and so that represents 1 in the ones place. So if I had to come up with a number using these base 10 blocks, I would say this number is 111. For the next part of our activity, our video today, I would like you to go ahead, get out your whiteboard and your marker as well. Pause the video so you have time to get your whiteboard and your marker out. Now that you have your whiteboard out, what I would like you to do is write the number 352. Let's go ahead together and show what 352 looks like in base 10 blocks. I'm going to use cubes for the number in the ones place. I'm going to use longs for the number in the tens place, and I'm going to use flats for the number in the hundreds place. So go ahead and draw this with me. If there is a 3 in the hundreds place, then we need 3 flats. Go ahead and draw 3 big squares. There is a 5 in the tens place, so we are going to draw 5 longs. Great job. And there is a 2 in the ones place. We are going to draw 2 cubes. Does your work match my work? If it does, give yourself a pat on the back. Notice that these flats are not tallies. So we don't need to cross the we don't need to cross one of the longs when we are working with base 10 blocks. Now it's your turn. I would like you to represent this number with base 10 blocks. Go ahead, take your time. Did you have an opportunity to get your answer on your board? All right, let's see if you got it correct. Does your board match mine? Here I am using 2 flats representing the 2 in the hundreds place. I have 3 longs representing the 3 in the tens place, and I have 1 cube representing the 1 in the ones place. Let's go ahead and try drawing one more problem. Let's go ahead and do 486. Go ahead and draw flats, longs, and cubes to represent this number. All right, boys and girls, let's check and see what you did. Your board should look something like mine. In base 10 blocks, this says 486. There are 4 flats representing the 4 in the hundreds place. There are 8 longs representing the 8 in the tens place. And there are 6 cubes representing the 6 in the ones place. What value is the 6? You're right, it just means 6. What value is the 8 being in the tens place? Let's count by tens 8 times. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. So because 8 is in the tens place, it means 80. What's the value of the 4 in the hundreds place? Let's count by 100s. 100, 200, 300, 400. The 4 means 400 in this number. Now we're going to do something a little bit different. I am going to draw the base 10 blocks, and you have to tell me what the number is. Watch carefully. What number do you see? How many hundreds do you see? How many tens do you see? How many ones do you see? If you said that this number was 374, you are correct. Great job. Let's try that again. Try and figure out the number I am making. What number did I just make? Am I missing something? What happens when I miss something? What happens when one of those base 10 blocks is not there? What do I do? If you said this number is 507, you are correct. There are 5 flats. There are no longs at all. So when there are no longs, we put a 0. And there are 7 cubes. So that means that there are 7. So our number is 507. Boys and girls, you did such a great job following all of those things today and helping me out with my base 10 blocks. Your teachers are going to work more with you in groups on your place value. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have a great Monday, and I will see you tomorrow. Check the box on the slide for the math work that you need to do today. See you later. Bye-bye.